Alright, so now we're going to be looking at section 2.5, which is linear inequalities and one variable. We're going to try to solve this linear inequality here. Negative 4 plus r in parentheses plus 2 minus 3r is less than negative 14. Okay, so first we're going to tackle the parentheses. If you remember our order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses come first. And we can't combine the 4 and the r together because they're not like terms, but we can factor this negative sign through that's out in front. So we will have negative 4 minus r, and then the rest of the equation stays the same. And now we're going to look at combining together our like terms. We've got this negative 4 and this positive 2. So negative 4 plus 2 will leave us with a negative 2. Then we've got negative r minus another 3r, which would give us a minus 4r, which is less than or equal to negative 14. Now again, the goal is to get the variable, the terms of the variables on one side, and all the constants on the other. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. Okay, and that means that these will cancel out and become 0. We still have our negative 4r, and that's less than negative 14 plus a positive 2 will give us a negative 12. Okay, so now here we are with, that's essentially not there, negative 4r is less than negative 12. So to get the r by itself, we're going to divide both sides by the negative 4. Now the special thing about dividing by a negative number when you're dealing with an inequality is that it will flip the sign around. So now, on this side, these negative 4's have canceled out, and left this with just r. And on this side, negative 12 divided by a negative 4, a negative cancels out a negative. So we'd be left with 3, but instead of the sign being pointing towards the 3, it flips around and now opens up towards the r. So the solution to this is r is greater than 3. Now the other task on these problems is that I ask you to graph them on a number line. So we're going to draw our number line here. Wow, it's not a very straight number line, but bear with me. Alright, and since we're starting at 3, I just want to make sure my number line includes 3 somewhere in the middle so that I can clearly show which direction this graph should be pointing. Alright, so in order to determine whether the point, obviously the graph will start at 3, to determine whether that is an open bracket or a closed bracket, you look at the inequality symbol. If the inequality symbol does not have a line under it, you use an open bracket. If there is a line under it, you would use the closed bracket. And since the original problem does not have that line there, we're going to use our open bracket. And then, since everything r must be greater than 3, got our open bracket here. Oops, sorry, open bracket at 3, and everything to the right. Another alternative method that I have seen and that I actually learned when I was growing up for making these graphs is instead of using these brackets, is to use a dot. So this is also acceptable. You could use an open circle instead of the open bracket at that point. Conversely, if you were going to use a dot for a closed bracket, that is a filled in dot. Please let me know if you have any questions.